Peace to the family. I'm just getting back on here, for the first time in a little bit. I get bad, breathing and asthmatic problems. I got a family history of that. So when I get it, I really get out of breath and, I'm just, getting back to, normal protocol, so I want to shout out to all of the family, who lifted me up and, kept me in prayers and everything like that, while I was even hospitalized for a little bit due to my, asthma. Cause like I said, I got a family history of like breathing issues and things like that. So I want to shout out to the family, that send me those wishes, those get well wishes and things like that. I just wanted to tap in, and let the family know I'm all right. I'm doing all right. And, we with that FB, we FBA's got that spirit of resilience in us. So we don't never give up, and we don't let, things knock us down. Trials come, but we take them, and, we absorb them and, come out, standing up with our chest and our head up high, so I got a lot of topics and things I want to be discussing on this particular live stream. We're going to get into Kendrick Lamar, brother Kendrick Lamar, a little later on. I'm going to save that for the main event. But as far as things, I seen in the headlines, we're going to talk about like some of the current news and things like that I seen, so first things first, I want to get into, with this young white kid, this particularly hit home for me because I got, like I said, like inherited asthma issues, like breathing issues. So this hit home for me. This young white boy, he died because he couldn't get, an asthma inhaler due to his insurance company. They put it up so high, didn't want to cover it. It just shows you the jankiness of things going on with the insurance companies and, things in general as far as this system we under, you know what I mean? So we're going to walk through and talk about that. I'm going to pull up the video and we're going to do how we normally do, family. And everyone that's tapping in with me for the first time, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're the first time viewer and whatnot. Because I normally when I'm up and running, put out videos like every day, pre-recorded videos, and I try to go live, particularly on Saturdays. Let me pull this up, family. Just a second. Here we go. Let me turn this down so I don't get copyrighted for the commercial. Yeah, this young white guy died because he couldn't get an asthma inhaler due to the jankiness of the insurance companies and things like that. That's crazy.
A man who died from an asthma attack has filed a lawsuit against Walgreens Pharmacy, its parent company, and pharmacy benefits manager Optum Rx. They say their son didn't refill his prescription for an inhaler used to control his asthma because the price soared to more than $500 and he didn't know his insurance no longer covered that drug. Cole Schmidtnick's parents.
See, that just shows you the jankiness of these insurance companies and the system in general, putting asthma inhalers and prescription drugs up so far where people can't even get them. This was like a 21-year-old guy that died of an asthma attack. That's insane.
Shannon and Bill Schmidtnick and their attorney Helen Lawless join us now. Thank you all so much for talking with us. Shannon and Bill, like to start by just asking you to tell us about your son, Cole.
Cole was 22. He was just starting to get out and be independent. He loved video gaming. He was an avid gamer. He streamed every single night to his quote-unquote fans on Twitch. He streamed various video games and would talk endlessly with his friends through streaming. Cole was an avid music and movie lover. He would often ask me if I had seen this movie or that movie, and I'm not an avid movie lover, so he was often disappointed when my answer was no. But he would be sure to make sure I saw whatever movie I needed to. Cole's friends described him as adventurous.
Cole, like millions of Americans with asthma, had managed his condition with medication most of his life. Who or what do you blame for his loss of life?
Well, just to put it kind of simply, as we've learned things since his death, we feel there's been some circumstances caused by the pharmacy benefit managers in the pharmacy he went to of, greed, deception, maybe not following your internal policies. And that's kind of where we went and what we've discovered more over the last few months.
We reached out to Optum Rx about Cole's case, and they told us Optum Rx also has available clinically appropriate options and formulary information when a medication is not covered on formulary, including Advair, Discus, formulary alternatives with member copays as low as $5. Have you been able to determine whether Cole was offered an alternative or a generic option?
As far as we know, he never was. That's as simple as it goes. I do know his formulary. It wasn't an option on there that I could see.
We should also note that we reached out to Walgreens for comment as well. They told us due to pending litigation, we are not commenting. Helen,
of course they wouldn't have a comment because like Walgreens and the insurance company, they on the hook for this. You know, if they couldn't provide that young man with the right medicine, they should at least send him out there, you know, with something. And the insurance companies are just so janky that, you know, you pay for insurance and then, you know, they put prescriptions up so high that you still got to come out of pocket when you paying for your insurance. It's just janky. It shows the jankiness of the system, you know, that a young man had to die and not get the proper medication at such a young age. You know, I don't rock with that. And, you know, I got another story that ties, you know, kind of into the same thing. Up there in Detroit, a sister, FBA sister, she was, you know, homeless, crying and reaching out for help. And she was sleeping in her car for, I believe, like 3 months. And with her kids and all, like 2 of her kids done passed away. And they trying to say it's due to the hypothermia, this, that, and the other. When she was reaching out for help, you know, the system didn't provide it. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, that the sisters, you know, she was just going through some hard times. And I got the audio and the video, and we're going to talk about it because, you know, it just showed the sheer jankiness of the system that we under, you know. Because in the news segment, David said that she reached out for help several times to no avail, but they give all these damn illegal, undocumented immigrants coming into the country aid. But if you're a foundational Black American, most of the times, you know, you don't get aid, you know, and when you do get aid, it's in a dire situation. Now that this young sister done lost 2 of her kids, now everybody want to come out the woodworks and talk about they got some aid and some help for her when she was reaching out for help. You know, and she was going to work. I just don't think she could have afforded an apartment, you know, and she was living out her van. No one wanted to, you know, for months provide her with the type of services she needs, you know, and now when it's in a dire situation, like she loses 2 of her kids, now everybody want to come out the woodworks. This is why I say, you know, we as foundational Black Americans, we need like institutions that ain't funded by the government, that's community based, you know, funded by us, to where though we helping our people, you know, we see them in need, we helping them, and we helping nothing but foundational Black Americans, because it ain't nothing wrong with just helping your people. We helping our people, you know, providing them with aid, because we got a lot of homelessness, you know, in the foundational Black American community, and these brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? A lot of them just ain't getting the, you know, the proper resources. All the resources and funding is going to other people, you know, and they turn the blind eye to when foundational Black Americans is going through something. Larry, anything goes. Peace to my brother Larry, anything goes. Yeah, because it's like we don't get a lot of the funding, you know what I mean? They give them to these immigrant groups and other groups of people. They can get them left and right, but you know, the foundational Black American needs something. They got to be in dire need to get any resource, and we pay in for that, you know what I mean? That comes out of our taxes, and you know, we have to, you know, start having like things in the community solely based for foundational Black Americans, where we looking out for our people, you know, helping them when they in need and things like that, because it should have been no reason that that sister was out there. You know, I don't know her family situation, but you know, it should be a community base when, you know, we ain't getting the resources we need. People could just come, you know, to us, and we looking out and taking care of our own. So I got the audio and the video of what happened up there in Detroit, and we're gonna talk about it, family. Just a second. Here we go. Let me turn it down so I don't get a commercial. Yeah, I think that's crazy though, how they left that sister. She was saying she needed resources.
Died from
fair use, fair use.
Is speaking out tonight. Her 9-year-old son and 2-year-old daughter were found unresponsive after spending the night in the Hollywood Casino parking garage.
Over the past 24 hours, questions have been raised about why the family didn't get help. During a press conference today, Mayor Mike Duggan revealed that family called the city in November, but nothing was done.
See, that sister was reaching out to the city saying she needed help. She was going to work and everything, paying taxes. I just don't think she could afford an apartment. Everything's so damn high now out here. You know, it's hard, especially if you're a single parent, She just wasn't getting the resources she needs. So I think the city is liable on the hook for this. Now, they trying to say the kid died of hypothermia. And she said that couldn't be possible later on in the video because she always kept the heat on in the car, made sure the car was gassed up, just for the kids' comfort. She said the kids had everything that they needed, other than a house, and she was trying to get that. So, I really don't fault, I'm a pretty good judge of character. I really don't fault the mom in this because I think she was trying to get on her feet, just a single sister out there trying to provide for these kids. I fought the system and not helping our sister, get back on her feet, because they allocate all these damn resources to these immigrant groups of people. But, that's why, to a certain degree, side note, I'm glad that Trump's in office because he getting a lot of them out the paint, and them resources that they can go to foundational Black Americans. You know what I mean? So I don't feel sorry that, this mass deportation thing is going on, because I know with the influx of all these damn immigrants under the Democrats, that was directly hurting foundational Black Americans. Johnny 2 Icon, blame America. Yeah, I blame the faulty system in that. You know what I mean? And I think why they trying to flip it and say hypothermia is why the kids died. So they could try to find some negligence on the mother, because they know if it comes back to them not allocating resources, and what's documented that she was allocating resources, I think the city could be on the hook for this. So she needs to get a good lawyer, this sister, because I certainly say the city's on the hook for this, because she was reaching out for months saying she needed help.
For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family.
Tonight, I sat down with that mother. She is 29.
It's never deemed an emergency when foundational Black Americans need something, but you let a white person or an immigrant need something, they'll roll the red carpet out for these individuals.
9-year-old Tatiana Williams, she told me she and her 4 children had been living in their van for the past 3 months.
Insane.
They said it was carbon monoxide. Or I don't know what it is. There's so many stories going around. I haven't even got the right story for my own kids. But one thing I do know is they could never be cold in their car, because I keep gas in their car. I do what I got to do to keep them kids with heat. So it's not hypothermia. My kids could have never froze to death. But I called everybody. I called out of state. I called different cities. I called Detroit. I got on the cameras. I've been on the cameras for a long time.
See, I believe this sister. She wasn't getting the aid that she needed. She wasn't getting the help she needed. She was going to work. She pays in taxes for this. So yeah, this is the jankiness of the system. It ties into how that white dude didn't get that inhaler he needed. It's jankiness of the system.
Nobody. Every time I call, they say it's no shelter, no bed. I thought I was doing the right thing. I tried to keep them warm at night. That's it. I was just trying to keep them warm. Nobody helped me. It took me to lose 2 of my kids to get this help. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, that's a sad one. My condolences go out to that sister and her friends and family, and RIP to those kids that lost their life. Moving right along. I don't know if any of the family has seen Nazis showed up there in Connecticut, flying their flags and on that type of time, that white supremacist, sort of kick, and the foundational Black American family showed up and ran them off the block because they showed up to a historical foundational Black American neighborhood, and the family got them up out of the paint. So I was proud to see that, brothers and sisters coming together. We don't want them kinds of things in the community. And a lot of times when these white supremacist groups show up to the community, they looked out and taken care of by the police. The police make sure they get protection to come through and spew their anti-Black views on things and, they hatred. So the family cleared them out and got them up out of the paint. Maney, peace, brother. FBA all day. Peace to the family. Yep. Peace to Maney. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Peace to you as well. But the family, the FBA family, got them up out of the paint there in Connecticut, because a lot of times when these white supremacist groups show up to cities, they looked out for and taken care of by the mayor, the police look out for him and make sure no harm happens to him. So I was glad to see that the FBA family, you know, got him up out of the paint. So I'm going to pull that story up and we're going to talk about it. Because I remember years ago, where I'm from in Pennsylvania, family, when I was a kid here in York, PA, there was like, you know, in the 90s, there were like be a lot of white supremacist groups showing up here, you know, downtown, having rallies and things like that. And the damn police force will look out and take care of them and make sure that nothing happened to them and make sure that they protected to come through and spew their anti-black views on things, you know. I remember being a kid and my mom, you know, telling me when they would come through town, you know, just stay away from that area. You know, this is going on, that's going on. And yeah, you know, so I was glad to see that the family showed out and, you know, got them up out of that black neighborhood like they did. A niche, peace to the chat. It was in Connecticut. Yeah, I was glad to see that they showed up like that and got them up out of there. I'm going to pull this up just a second, family. I'm trying to let this commercial get off of my screen. Fair use, fair use.
Hey guys, the protesters have since cleared out, as well as the counter protests. Just before 3, right behind me on this overpass, as you mentioned, there were about 13 people who were dressed in black, waving a white supremacist flag, and some of them had swastikas as well as carrying rifles on them. Now, shortly after, a counter protest of Lincoln Heights residents say they chased the protesters away, took the flag from the bridge, and burned it. Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies tried.
That was good to see that camaraderie with the FBA family, running them out of there, burning the flag. I even heard they did some kind of damage to the white supremacist vehicle. You know, they ain't got no business, you know, coming out there like that, you know, especially to a black neighborhood. So they was looking for something to go down, you know, goddamn cowards. And a lot of times when they show up in these cities, the police force will look out for them. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see that the FBA family got them up out of there.
Dispersed the residents, but they made their way to a Jeep they believed belonged to one of the white supremacists. They slashed the tires and the windows were punched out. Now, as a historically black neighborhood, residents add they will not allow hate to come in.
Yeah, what did they expect showing up to a historical black neighborhood like that? See, they knew it was a black neighborhood, you know. They probably just, you know, suspected that the police and things like that will look out for them like they do, you know, when they go in these neighborhoods and make sure that they protect and nothing happens to them. And it just so happened the FBA family was waiting on that ass, you know, messed their car up, torched their flag. And I'm glad to see that, you know what I mean? The family coming together like that, because we don't want white supremacist groups coming into the neighborhood, you know what I mean? Keep that stuff out there in hillbilly land, you know, where y'all practice it at. But, you know, coming through an FBA neighborhood, that ain't going to be tolerated like that. So I'm glad to see the family is getting them up out of the paint, you know, in that regard. But moving right along, I wanted to talk about, I seen something with the brother, Big Drip, I believe his name is, Big Gip from the Goody Mob. He was standing on some FBA business. You know, I'm going to pull that video up. Happened in Ohio. Oh, okay. That happened in Ohio, not Connecticut. Okay, my bad if I messed up. You know, I'm just that happened in Ohio, not Connecticut. Okay. You're saying that to yeah, it's saying it happened in Connecticut, family. Yeah, it's saying it happened in Connecticut. That's where it's saying it happened at. That's what the new headline reads, Connecticut. So that's what I'm going with. Just a second, I want to pull this video up of the brother from Goody Mob. I believe his name is Big Gimp. Big Gimp. My phone never act right. Okay, here we go. Fair use, fair use.
That's another conversation we as black people got to have. Mm-hmm. Now, see, in the South, we didn't grow up with the Latino community. Yeah. We grew up with black people and white people. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, for me personally, when I look across in other states, and I see black people up here worried about who the Latino people voted for, I feel like that's not our business. That's not.
I agree with him on that. You know, we as foundational Black Americans, we starting to get off. A lot of our people starting to get off that kick, but I hate it when we on that Black and Brown coalition. You know, we got to get away from them words because these other damn groups ain't worried about foundational Black Americans. They worried about they group getting a leg up. They give a damn about foundational Black Americans. That's why, you know, I'm glad with us delineating and focusing on the lineage, because what that does is, you know, we're just worried about our needs. Not saying that, you know, we don't wish other people well, but these other groups of people give a damn about what goes on with us, you know. So we shouldn't be worried about them, you know, because when I see Black folks, you know, on that Black and Brown coalition worried about what's going on with all of these other groups of people, they give a damn about us. So why be concerned about them? You know what I mean? We got to solely focus on FBA business and issues.
Why are black people always trying to connect our struggle to somebody else's struggle?
I agree with you.
They ain't got nothing to do with you. Because get what? Them same Latino people, you go to jail. You can't go over there and talk to them. You in the Black part. They're in the Latino part. In jail, everybody's segregated.
And a lot of them Latino groups of people, they anti-Black. They don't even like foundational Black Americans. They give a damn about us. You know what I mean? So there ain't no minority coalition. So I'm glad to see that a lot of our people getting off that kind of time, because a couple years back, I just remember, and it was mainly Black folks doing this. I hate to say, running around talking about Black and Brown, this, that, and the other. These other groups of people don't give a damn about no foundational Black Americans. So, you know, we wish other groups of people well, but we ain't on that kind of time no more. We focused on getting what we got to get done for foundational Black Americans and us getting our leg up. You know what I mean? And that's how you take control of power, you know, worrying about your own group, focusing on your own needs. You know what I mean? Because the power ain't being about everybody, you know, being that all-inclusive group and being, you know, about everyone's needs. The power is in being exclusive. That's how you really get things done for your group to move the needle forward.
Well, why when we get out here on the street, the only one that ain't segregated or act segregated is Black people? See that?
We spoke a lot of truth in that, though, you know, with us getting off the time, you know, worrying about Latinos and what other groups of people going through. You know, we certainly, you know, it's a great awakening, you know, in foundational Black American society, you know, with the delineation, you know, us taking pride in being Americans, us representing that red, white, and blue flag. And a lot of people, they don't like us, you know, representing that red, white, and blue flag, because they want us to feel like, you know, some sort of, you know, foreigners on our homeland. They don't want us to recognize America as our homeland and, you know, be solely about our needs, because that's where the power lies. The power didn't lie in, you know, us saying, going back to Africa, this, that, and the other. That's why, you know, like a lot of people pointed out, even Brother Tariq Nasheed, he points this out a lot of times, that, you know, when you talking about going to Africa, back to Africa, this, that, and the other, they'll fund that. The government will fund that. But when you talking about, nah, I'm from this land, I'm from the soil, we responsible for building America, they don't want to put no money in that, because they want to detach you from the soil. So that way they ain't got to, you know, do the right thing and produce those reparations. You know what I mean? Because when we lock down the soil, we entitled to those reparations that they owe us. You know what I mean? A niche. They want to Africanize us. Yeah, they want to Africanize us. That way they detach us from the land. You know, when they got us going back to Africa, you know, got us talking about that, going back to Africa, this, that, and the other. They'll give money all day for that. But when you're talking about, nah, this is my land, my ancestors, you know, fought in every war. We're the real only true Americans as foundational Black Americans. All other people, they immigrated here. We never immigrated, you know. And when you start talking on that time, you know, they don't like that. You know, this is why they working so hard now to, you know, find a way to tear down foundational Black Americans. You know, they trying to make it as a group. And this is all for them to try to tear it down, because they know good and well foundational Black Americans is no group, you know, that we're a lineage of people, you know, but they just don't want us on the type of timing that we on right now, saying that, you know, we from here, you know, and showing our patriotism. I'm gonna get to that a little later with the patriotism thing, because I think Brother Kendrick did a good job on that at his Super Bowl performance. But moving right along, what else did I want to touch on? Yeah, I didn't really get to touch on this because, you know, I was, you know, down bad a little bit with my asthma and things like that. But when Brother Neely Fuller died, you know what I mean? I'm gonna touch on him a little bit, because, he was the one that brought up into the lexicon the 9 areas of activity of white supremacy. And we're going to just briefly talk about, you know, the 9 areas of activity. And I want to say rest in peace to my brother Neely Fuller. He was also the mentor of our sister. Hold on, let me pull that up. Losing my train of thought, family. Pardon me. Our sister, Dr. Frances Cress Wilson. Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. Excuse me for that. Pardon me. I'm going to pull up this Neely Fuller though video I seen with him addressing the 9 areas of white supremacy. Because I was trying to find this video for some time where he was talking about the 9 areas of activity of white supremacy. I could never find it. It just so happened somebody, in light of his death, you know, uploaded it. Where'd that video go? Just a second. No, I can't find it, and I just had it. Here we go. Pardon me on that, family.
And the race of economics.
Fair use, fair use.
The use of time and energy. And the racists, when they looked around at the people that they classified as non-white, they decided, well, one thing, we will have domination over the way that they use their time and energy. And all of these.
See, white supremacy, when they created white supremacy, they, you know, made that to encapsulate all areas of activity in society, everything from the media to the schooling to the food, everything. And, you know, these 9 areas of white supremacy that Neely Fuller talked about, you know what I mean? He really brought that up into the lexicon. He really did a good job, you know, shedding light that there's 9 areas of activity because, you know, they made sure not to miss, you know, leave no stone unturned creating white supremacy. That it will affect, you know, all areas of life, you know, everything you go through to the media, to, you know, music, everything, you know, is, has a degree of white supremacy in it. And all of them, you know, work in conjunction with one another.
These areas of activity are interrelated. Economics is interrelated with education. Education is interrelated with entertainment. Entertainment is interrelated with labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war. All of these 9 areas are interactive. So if you're a white supremacist, in order to really be supreme, you have to get control over everything that people do in all of these 9 areas if these people are classified as non-white. And of course, being a supremacist, the supremacist always does the classifying.
R.I.P. to my brother Neely Fuller, you know, and he hit the nail right on the head with this because white supremacy encapsulates a lot of areas of activity, you know, everything from the food. Why you think when you go like to the urban areas, mostly foundational Black American neighborhoods, the food, good food is so hard to find in the neighborhood. You'll find a fast food restaurant on every corner, but you won't find no herbal or no health shops. It all encapsulates one another, you know, with this white supremacy thing. They knew what they were doing in creating it. And, you know, everything from when you turn on the TV, you're a young kid, a young Black kid constantly turning on the TV to see, people like Sexy Red and things like that running around and twerking, you know, to the untrained mind. When a young Black kid sees this, they know that what this would do in the untrained mind, especially in our young people, you know, that'll get them to, you know, thinking that this is all my people is, you know, and this is in all actuality what they want. This is why, you know, on my platform and channel, I work to, you know, combat that. As false narrative of all of our people. They want to paint all our people in as being, like drug dealers and our females, running around twerking. This is why, because it's a myth. They don't really want to show. They don't want to show the foundational Black American, family image on the TV, because what this would do, is put that Black pride in you, to want to strive and obtain for more in life, and when they put, positive images of Black men on TV that's getting up doing the 9-to-5 thing, this will, create a, positive Black, self-image within that young Black child, the young Black brother that's watching it, where he'll want to get out and, do positive things with his life, maybe go to college, create his own business. And this is what they don't want. They want Black people at a certain level, where though that level is maintained by white supremacy, because mainstream media basically pushes a white supremacist narrative. If you really look at it, everything you basically see on TV, is pushing a white supremacist narrative. Even now, when you see these commercials now starting to push more interracial couples, and what this is, pushing a Black man with a white woman, this is destroy the Black family. They don't want a strong Black man and a woman, being shown in that light, because what this would do is, make a strong Black family unit. They want to get away from Blackness by any means necessary. You got to watch the subtle things that they drop even in these commercials, because I see an influx of them showing interracial couples in the commercials now. Now, it's not, if that's what toots your horn and that's what you want to be about, that's on you. But I'm about that strong Black family unit, you know what I mean? And us, building up strong Black families, Black man, woman, and child, and things like that. And you'll see it in the, the commercials, how nowadays they try to, slowly drop little hints in there. And, they also want to show Black men in these commercials and on TV in a feminized way. I ain't knocking nobody if that's your lifestyle, but, it's a reason why they do that, because they know if they can destroy, I can't get the word out, family. You know what I mean? If they can, mess with the strong Black male image, and have young brothers questioning their sexuality and not, being that strong Black man, they know they got you, because they know for the most part, people with that sugar in their tank, no disrespect, but they ain't really going to be about fighting white supremacy. Now, you do got exceptions to the rules, you know what I mean? But for the most part, this is why they work to destroy that strong Black male image, and you'll see this all the time nowadays, we're trying to feminize Black men, stick them in dresses, this, that, and the third. It all encapsulates one another is what I'm trying to say. And our brother Neely Fuller did a hell of a job in displaying that, you know what I mean? Because they work so hard to, tear down the Black family, the strong Black man. And this things, we got to think, these things ain't done, done by coincidence. These things is done by design. They want us to, to be, in a submissive position. They don't want us to fight and stand on business, fight truth to power. This is why they put out these false narratives, in the media and things like that. See, I question everything I watch, even, on down to the movies. You watch TV for long enough, it'll show us white supremacist head, even to the commercials, to everything you see on the TV, it all encapsulates one another, even to the school system, how Neely Fuller was talking. He said the education. This is why in Black neighborhoods, predominantly Black neighborhoods in them inner areas, the public school system, they don't get the right amount of funding, but you go out to the suburbs and in white rural neighborhoods, they get all the funding in the world, because in the Black neighborhood, they just worried about, passing them kids on through school, this, that, and the third, and all of these things, go hand in hand, and they all go back to white supremacy. This is why they say that school to prison pipeline as well, because school is grooming the young Black youth in all actuality to be criminals and go to jail. It sets them up. You know what I mean? It's the setup for that. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why, I'm an advocate, if you can, homeschooling Black youth, because that way we get to program them with what we want them to know, put that Black mind in them, and school in all actuality all teaches you to go and get a job. It don't teach you to be fully functional and be self-sufficient, to operate your own business. This is what the school system should be teaching Black kids. You know what I mean? How to, be your own boss, create your own resources so you can sustain yourself and your family. Tip reads, the disrespect has been blatant. But yes, tip reads. But yeah, getting back to Neely Fuller. Neely Fuller did a hell of a job, displaying that, and he'll be greatly missed, and it's very, very telling. He went, home with the ancestors during this Black History Month. So I want to say peace to our brother Neely Fuller and our sister Frances Cress Welsing, because he was her mentor. I didn't know that. I just found that out in light of his death. You know what I mean? That he was a mentor to our sister, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. So moving right along. I'm gonna stay on the topic of Black history on this one, family, because it's Black History Month, and we're gonna talk about what was it? The FBA brothers that created the first. They were the first paramedics, the Freedom House ambulance service up there in Pittsburgh, PA, and I'm from PA, so this makes me makes me feel proud to be from PA. Brothers created the first ambulance service, you know what I mean, and then. Once they seen that they was, getting things done, moving and shaking, then the mayor by the name of, what was that mayor's name? Pete Flannery, he stripped the funding out from under him. Once he seen, brothers and sisters was out there moving and shaking, with this Black ambulance service, the Freedom House, then they pulled the funding. And, this is typical what they do to Black people once we create something, because we are so creative of a people. We create things on the drop of a dime. And this is what they wanted to do with the whole hip hop thing, to take it from under us till we stop that from going down. See, we create things and then, it's exploited by other groups of people, then they lay claim to it. See, a lot of people don't even know that Black people were the first, ambulance workers that laid the blueprint, you know what I mean? And that brought that, about. So, yeah, this is something that needs to be talked about more. These brothers don't get the right amount of credit, they should be getting for, creating this ambulance service. You don't even hear this talked about. This should be talked about and taught in schools and everything like that. But they don't want us to know the greatness of our people as foundational Black Americans. So I got the audio and the video of this, and we're going to talk about it. The first ambulance service was started by FBA brothers up there in Pittsburgh called the Freedom House. Just a second, family. Here we go. Fair use.
We're talking about 25 Black men. That's how it started. Back in the 60s, when you called the ambulance, the police came.
Policemen were in charge of taking people to the hospital.
See, they said back in the day when you called the ambulance service in the 60s and things like that, the police would come, or the funeral people will come and pick you up. And Black people, especially in our neighborhoods, we wasn't getting adequate service. And, with the police picking us up with the type of time they was on, especially in the 60s, they was probably, taking brothers and sisters, taking them the long route to the hospital, making sure they died, or, doing some, nonsense to them in back of that police car to ensure they died. They probably pick up a brother or sister, with a, going through something and ensure that they don't make it to the hospital, beat them, do a whole bunch of nonsense to them. That's how they got down. They still get down this way. So imagine back at this time, so the Pittsburgh Freedom House, that was ahead of its time. It laid the blueprint, it was groundbreaking. It was epic. And this kind of stuff needs to be talked about more, that we created the first ambulance service.
Person on that little stretcher and throw them in the back of the paddy wagon, slam the door, and go as fast as they can. People were dying.
Freedom House was a program to hire the unemployable, some of the alcoholic and drug abuse people that...
See, I like that too. What the Freedom House did, up there in Pittsburgh, they would employ brothers and sisters that, weren't supposed to succeed, due to societal standards. These were people that were less likely to succeed, on society standards. These were people that, were down, might have been down bad on their luck. And what they did was, employ these brothers and sisters, take them in, teach them how to be a paramedic, and I respect stuff like that. You know what I mean? Russell Richardson, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, author of the ISIS Papers. Yeah, I got that book, the ISIS Papers. That's certainly a good book. If the family don't got that book, you might want to get the ISIS Papers. You know what I mean? And our brother Neely Fuller put out a book too. I forget the name of it off top, but the ISIS Papers is certainly a good book.
They want
They wanted to get off the streets.
So we went to school, we went through training, and we did an excellent job.
We were starting IVs in the field, doing tracheal intubation in the field.
We were the ones who changed all emergency medical services.
At that time, black people couldn't get in there.
They were the blueprint for the paramedic service. They laid the blueprint, the foundation, and when they got it moving and shaking, the mayor of, Pittsburgh, this Pete Flannery, and, other people in these governmental positions, they pulled the rug out from under them because they never, expect black people to succeed. And when we succeed with the minimal things given to us, and when we make something out of nothing, this really boils the skin of white supremacists. They can't stand that. We do this time and time again, and this shows how it's, a false narrative, how they say that, we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Black people have done that always and forever in this country. And when we do, gain some sort of traction from pulling ourselves up, being self-sufficient, the white supremacists come and pull the rug out from under us, the same way they did with this Freedom House, up there in Pittsburgh. The brothers was moving and shaking it, putting other black people on that wasn't supposed to make it in society due to their standards. And when they seen, us being, getting things done, moving and shaking and putting other black folks on, they want to, strip the funding from it. I don't respect that.
You couldn't get an ambulance into a lot of communities. We're last on the list to get service. I mean, remember the whole political fight.
And it ain't no coincidence that black people were the last to get services. You know what I mean? It's still this way to the day, unfortunately.
Around the future of Freedom House, the mayor decided to put his own service in the system in opposition to Freedom House in 1975. He really didn't like Freedom House. That's being blunt.
When you can take something from nothing and make something out of it, everybody else wants to get in on the play.
It was something.
You hear what that brother said? When you could take something from nothing and make something out of it, everyone else wants to get on the play. This is what we've always done as foundational Black Americans. We're the most creative people there is on this planet, and every time we create something, the white supremacists and other people want to, come in and lay claim to it, you know what I mean? Or take the rug out from under us and, not give us the proper credit, and it's always been this way in America. They was trying to do this same thing with hip hop until, we stopped the lie, from them being able to do that, and this Freedom House is, should be something that's talked about everywhere, because these brothers, that created it, the first ambulance service, they were ahead of their time. They were groundbreaking. They were epic. And and they don't get the proper credit they deserve. So salute to them brothers, during this Black History Month, for their contributions to America and changing the game, because up until this point, there were no ambulance services. You needed an ambulance, the funeral people was coming to get you, or the cops was coming to get you. And, if the cops is coming to get you, in a Black neighborhood, they ain't coming to drive you to no damn hospital. They'll probably drive around the hospital before they stop at, the hospital. You could be on your deathbed, but they don't want no Black people, especially not during that time, but still on up until now. They don't got our best interests in mind. So salute to them brothers that started the Freedom House up there in Pittsburgh. Now, what I want to talk about, the topic at hand, the main event is, I want to talk about our brother Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl. It was an epic, performance. And, I watched it, even though I was, down bad. I was in the hospital, like I said, due to my, asthma. I got, asthma problems, coming from my family, a family history of it. So I was in the hospital watching the Super Bowl, rooting for my brother Kendrick. I don't really get into sports like that, but being as though Kendrick, was performing, I said, I'm going to watch this, you know what I mean? And it was epic. And I think, what that show was, what that meant for foundational Black Americans, that he performed at the Super Bowl the way he did. I think it represented a paradigm shift. It shows how we as foundational Black Americans, we ain't no generic Africans. We ain't no immigrants. America's our homeland. And Brother Kendrick Lamar did a job well done of displaying that, with the red, white, and blue, having the, brothers up there, making the flag, so a lot of white supremacists and tethers were mad that he did that, because what the white supremacists and tethers want, is us to feel like foreigners on our homeland, to be talking about going back to Africa. And, that ain't us as foundational Black Americans. We are American, and a lot of us are starting to display that patriotism in the red, white, and blue, because truth be told, a teen girl by the name of Grace Wisher, who was enslaved, crafted that U.S. flag. We built, the White House and everything. This is why we call ourselves foundational. So, yeah, we got ties to this land. We ain't no damn generic Africans, and the white supremacists are mad because they don't want us to, feel like this is our homeland. They want us to, feel like guests over here when everyone else is guests but the foundational Black American. We're the only non-immigrants to America. We're only real true Americans, and this is what they don't want to talk about, our contributions to America. We, everything about America that's good is good because we made it that way. Everything about us, we created a lot of the things people use in their day-to-day life and don't even know about. The potato chip was created by a Black man. The light, and a lot of times our ideas and contributions were stolen from us, you know what I mean? Because we couldn't get patents, we couldn't get this, that, and the third at the time. And, and they give the credit to a white person. But back to our brother Kendrick, he did a lot of, good things with that Super Bowl, and I like how he, put on for the FBA lineage, and showed his patriotism. And he has Serena Williams, out there crip walking, you know what I mean? And it was good to see her even out there like that, and brother Samuel L. Jackson, out there, he was Uncle Sam. It was just, something out of the norm. I don't think they, anticipated Kendrick Lamar coming out like that because they want us to, be guests in our homeland. And when he put on and, was representing the red, white, and the blue, I think it represented a paradigm shift. And that is, evident of what we're going through now in foundational Black American society. We're becoming more patriotic, because they don't want us, to show patriotism and, things like that. But when the red, white, and the blue is FBA, you know what I mean? Because we crafted that flag, we worked on the White House, and these things, are not readily talked about, but these things must be talked about because we ain't no damn generic Africans. This is what they want. See, it ain't no problem. The white supremacists love and the tethers love when some of our people be on that, going back to Africa, that Pan-Africanism kick, because the power ain't in that. The power is acknowledging this soil, what our ancestors did on this land, the contributions we made on this land, which were several, you know what I mean? And more often than not, we don't get the proper credit, that what we did, on this land, for our contributions, So I think it was a good showing that he stepped out there like that and, represented that paradigm shift, and showing Black American, foundational Black American lineage. He showed us in a power position, on a world stage. And this was the first time a diss record was ever, done on a big stage like that. And this, from my knowledge, was the first time that a rapper had ever headlined a Super Bowl. So that was epic, for him to come out like that and put on the way he did. And of course, someone, had to run out there with a Palestine flag and try to derail the momentum, because they always want to derail foundational Black American momentum, and attach something else to it, to their for their benefits and these other groups of people, because they can't get things done on their own. This is why they was crying tooth and nails about the mass deportation thing going on, because without us fighting it, they don't got no leg to stand on, you know what I mean? Because we get all the work done, and this is why they want us to attach ourselves to their struggles. People are crying out, complaining that foundational Black Americans ain't helping them, with what they're going through with our issues. Nobody gives a damn about helping us when we go through things, and a lot of these other groups of people, they against reparations, you know what I mean? You let a person talk long enough, they act like they down. We see this all the time on brother Tariq Nasheed's show. White supremacists and other groups of people will call in, say, yeah, I'm down for the Black community, this and that. But you ask them they stance on reparations, they ain't with it. When you find out somebody stance on reparations, that lets you know the mindset of them, if they for or against foundational Black Americans. And most of these other groups of people, even if they Black, they ain't for foundational Black Americans to get reparations. So yeah, so we ain't putting the cape on for nobody else. All these other groups of people want us to put the cape on for them, but when we stand on something, 9 times out of 10, we got to fight our own battles. We out there alone. So they can miss me with that. And they just want to attach us because they know the spirit of resilience and fighting the foundational Black Americans. This is why, and they ain't got that same resilient spirit to fight. This is why they want, to us to get out there and fight their battles for them. And it was very telling that somebody ran out there with a Palestine flag, during that Super Bowl performance of our brother Kendrick. You know, they ran out there at the moment he was performing, you know, so they could steal the momentum and use it for their cause, you know, and they could miss me with that. You know what I mean? We wish everybody well, but ain't nobody standing, you know, up for our fights and struggles but foundational Black Americans. So they could miss me with that. And brother Kendrick did a good job of, you know, representing and putting on for the lineage. You know what I mean? And I respect him for that. And then white supremacists and tethers that want to speak bad about, you know, his performance and say it wasn't this, that, and the other, you know, they just mad because it's a new vibe in town amongst foundational Black Americans. We becoming more patriotic and they can't stand to see it. You know, they want us on some vibe, but we talking about we ain't from the land and lifting up the American flag. And, you know, that just ain't the vibe right now. The vibe is, you know, we are American as foundational Black Americans. A lot of the stuff in this society over here in America is the way it is because we fought to make it that way. You know, the fact that people could come over here and come and go as they please, these immigrant groups, is because we fought for that. You know, so yeah, we ain't got to feel, you know, like no guests over here because this is our homeland. You know what I mean? And ain't nothing wrong with picking up that American flag, you know, because a lot of times in the past, you know, people would try to shame us into, you know, acknowledging our Americanness. You know, why y'all picking up that flag? Y'all was enslaved here, you know, but what about our contributions over here? What about the things we done to make America, you know, the place that she is over here? America ain't great, but she's still the greatest place to live on earth, to have, you know, some of these freedoms. That's why every other, and the showing of that, you know, a great example of that is why all these immigrants flee over here. Because they can't do the same thing in their homeland or they will be doing it. You know what I mean? And they ain't trying to fight no white supremacy in their homeland. This is a lot of times why they can't get nothing done. If we would have never fought it over here, things wouldn't be the way that she is right now. You know what I mean? For people to be able to come over here and enjoy a better quality of living, you know what I mean? Somebody had to, you know, stand up and fight truth to power and shed blood, sweat, and tears for that. And that was us, foundational Black Americans. This is why I'll never deny, you know, being American and, you know, even representing that flag, because a lot of our people, you know, died, you know, over here and, you know, worked to, you know, knock this white supremacist system down, you know, to make it a better place. And back to Kendrick, he did a good display in that, you know, showing our patriotism, you know, as foundational Black Americans. So I salute to him on that. He did a job well done. And it was the first time, like I said, a diss track was performed up there, you know, and he put the nail in the coffin for Drake. I don't believe Drake could ever come back from this. You know what I mean? And Drake got his rear end handed to him. So yeah, he ain't gonna be able to bounce back from this. I don't know how he going, you know, what he gonna do next, but you know, Kendrick Lamar destroyed him. Kendrick Lamar is, you know, a phenomenal rapper, and he put on for the lineage, you know, during that Super Bowl, and I was glad to see it. You know what I mean? And him having Samuel L. Jackson out there and Serena Williams, it was really, you know, it was really a sight to see, you know. And I'm proud to be a foundational Black American. You know what I mean? Because it's just we did so much over here in America that a lot of times don't get recognized, and you know. Now we starting to put them things in the lexicon, you know, and display them things, you know, and this is where people have the problem with, you know, they don't want us to, you know, display our contributions to America, because a lot of what's great about America, we contributed it to American society. You know, if there wouldn't be no foundational Black American over here, things wouldn't be the way that she is, you know, the land it is. We made America, you know, great to a certain degree. Now, America ain't, you know, without her fair share of problems, but it's certainly better than a lot of these other nations. That's why people are running over here, trying to flock over here left and right, you know, because we made it that way. You know, they wouldn't have got rid of the systems of slavery and things like that if it wasn't for FBAs knocking, you know, it down and fighting and standing on business. You know, we've always been fighting and fighting against white supremacy. You know what I mean? This is why we're the only true real threat of white supremacy, and they know it. You know, this is why they don't like what's going on now with us delineating, us standing on business, being more about foundational Black Americans, because they know that the FBAs are the really only true threat to systematic white supremacy. A lot of these other groups, they just happy you know, to go along, to get along. They're happy to come over here. So they ain't going to rock the boat and try to fight no white supremacy. You know, we the only ones that consistently rock the boat and, you know, deal punishing blows to white supremacy. We the only ones that hit white supremacy with them uppercuts and them jabs. No other groups of people do that. They lay docile and dormant, you know what I mean? And just favor of going along to get along. They don't want to rock the boat, you know? A lot of these other groups of people, even if they melanated, they want to jump into the pockets of white supremacy. They want to play on the same team as white supremacy, you know, to be on that team of white supremacy. They ain't got no plan to knock white supremacy down. We as foundational Black Americans, like I said, are the only real true threat to systematic white supremacy. But yeah, I'm about to get off of here, family. I just wanted to tap in real quick. And, you know, if you haven't, make sure you like and, you know, subscribe to my page. I'm going to start, you know, getting a little bit more consistent. I was down a little bit because of my asthma. So, yeah, I'm going to be back at it a little bit. And thanks for tapping in with me. And if you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe to my page, you know, and I'm going to be, you know, putting out more videos, pre-recorded videos, and trying to go live a little bit more here lately since I'm starting to feel a little bit better. So I want to say peace to all of the family in the chat, and y'all have a good day and stay safe out there, you know, and remember to be aware, because to be aware is to be alive. Peace.